Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, July 1st, 2015. Welcome to the second half of 2015, if you can believe it. Here's the ES front month futures contract charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal 12. This is the daily chart of the the ES contract. Notice I talked about that trend line I drew yesterday, the diagonal blue line going back to last August, how we'd finally kind of broken and closed below that. And notice how the high of the session here today was that line. So we've kind of moved back up to retest it and failed. That's not a positive sign, just so you know. When you take a support point, break it on volume, come back up and retest it and fail. Now that's not a complete failure yet, but it would be. I would call it a retest. And if we do start to break lower here, as much as this market's been flat, as much as you can obviously make the case that we're still glued to this the flat blue line, which is the 2062.50. Call it the cosmic number that we started playing with back at Thanksgiving, and we've hit very frequently ever since then. Looks like a flat market, but at the same time, you can draw that clear uptrend if you go back a little further than November, and there is some technical stuff happening here in that we're breaking that trend line pretty specifically. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is just another little wave in the middle of this horrible range we're in, or if this is finally the breakdown point we've been looking for. Never really thought we had much chance to the upside from here. I think the market downside is a little more likely. Of course, a lot of this is news driven. We have the situation in Greece, and of course, if they fix that, that could lead to a bounce and get us back up where we were last month and the month before. But only time will tell on that. So that is what the ES looks like. The S&P cash index gained 5 after selling off sharply the day before. Obviously, NDX also up about 17 points after selling off sharply. Look how that red static trend line, such key support on that NASDAQ index. The SOX up just 2 after a three-day sharp sell-off. The biotechs, on the other hand, bounced back 84 with a big gap up after the sell-off that's occurred, not just over the Greek news, but since the 13 sell signal that we got last week. Let's see, that was on Tuesday of last week, and we've been straight down ever since. Google down a point, despite the fact that the market rallied. Apple up a buck. The VIX back down 62 cents, although it was higher at one point for the session. Crude oil bounced a bit. 59.10 was the close there, still under $60 on the 10-day moving average. Gold down 6, near the lows of the last 3 months. The trend closed at 1.34. The 10-day moving average now 1.22. I'm pretty sure there's a pretty big number dropping off the 10-day moving average next. So we may see the moving average go down, but it's not in any point right now that it's giving a signal on the market anyways. And the NASDAQ volume was back to 1.8 billion shares 2 days in a row. We had a real nice trading day. 3 great futures trades, and 4 out of 5 on our stock calls with market direction. That is very unusual for the last day of the quarter. Usually the market's pegged to the prices that the big players want for the end of quarter statements. But obviously the sell-off Monday that they couldn't control allowed for a little room there. And so we had a really nice session on Tuesday. I cannot complain. One of the better sessions I've had in a couple of weeks. And to have it happen on the last day of the quarter, it's just really unusual. Here's a look at what happened. Here's the intraday action. So you can see the big decline, the gap down and decline on Monday. And then Tuesday here, we gapped up. Nice sharp sell-off early. That gave us a couple of our futures winners. Used the VWAP as resistance on the way down. We filled the gap and over lunch, and then rallied back up to the open. Coming out of lunch, couldn't get any further. Sold back off, closed basically just under the VWAP. Here's the NQs, the NASDAQ side. Not as big a gap, more of a gentle decline to fill the gap. Did rally over lunch and then sold back off to the VWAP. So that looks pretty flat when you look at it like that, but we actually had a real nice trading day, so nothing to complain about. What's next? All right, now that we are past the end of quarter, the bigger players can get back to work. They can freely move their money around. They've got a whole new quarter before they have to produce results one way or the other. So we have some data coming out. We have the MBA mortgage index at 7 a.m. Eastern time. We have challenger job cuts at 7:30. ADP employment change at 8:15. Market opens at 9:30. We've got ISM index at 10, along with construction spending. A lot of those are pretty big numbers. Crude oil inventory is an hour in, not a big deal, most likely. And then auto and truck sales in the afternoon, not a big deal. Now, will we be doing another one of these market previews tomorrow going into Thursday? That's an unknown. Typically, I don't do them going into Friday. Friday, the markets are closed. Thursday should, by all accounts, be slow after the first 90 minutes. We do have some major data Thursday morning, though. We have the non-farm payroll and unemployment rate number. Usually comes out on a Friday, but they're putting it out on Thursday because the markets are closed on Friday, along with the banks. So that could cause some interest. The real question here, I think, is first of all, are the big players ready to come back and do some stuff with the uncertainty of Greece? But also now that they have a lot of times the first week of July is really solid from a trading perspective, but you always have that 4th of July holiday in there. Well, this year you've only got Wednesday and then Thursday. The markets are closed Friday. So are they going to come back right now, start placing a lot of bets on the market for the next quarter with only the 2 days, and really most people leave early Thursday before the holiday, or are we going to have them wait till Monday where maybe we'll get some answers out of Greece? People can enjoy the long weekend. Hard to say. And the other thing to keep in mind is if people hold positions over Thursday, the rest of the world is not closed on Friday. This is a U.S. holiday. So everybody else is going to have the full Friday to react to whatever's going on in Greece, plus the start of Monday before the U.S. opens. So it's a lot of reaction time that the U.S. investors are going to be unable to do anything. So it's going to be real interesting to see how they close this out. If anybody wants to close some shorts or close some long positions and not take the risk, that would be what would affect the market on Thursday. So my general rule is, 1st of July is usually starts out well, but it may or may not this year, given the layout, the calendar layout. Obviously, if Wednesday is dull, I probably will not do another preview for Thursday. On the other hand, if Wednesday, with all this data and new quarter and everything going on in the world, is exciting, then Thursday will be something to do. I would say that given unless something is fixed in Greece miraculously on Wednesday, I do feel like the bias is more likely to be down, obviously, and I think people are going to be thinking about not wanting to be long positions over this long weekend. So just be aware of that. I think that's going to weigh heavily on the market. We are available to help you out make money in the lab. If you've not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. And if you do find these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. It does help us out. In case I do not do another preview for Thursday, have a great long weekend and happy 4th of July to those of you here in the U.S. Good luck.